Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
Former President Yahya Jammeh may have left the Gambia, but the impact of his rule for 22 years on the violations of the rights of the people is apparent, as it is in the display in the speeches. British photographer Helen Floria and Helen Jones Floria have done an exceptional number of pictures on victims of former President Yahya Jammeh, and today it's on display at the Victim Center, the Center for Victims of Human Rights Violation. This is the first of its kind, the photo expedition of this nature. It's being held by the Victim Center, and it's meant to put faces to the stories that we've all been told many, many times. This would help the TRRC or any Gambian to understand and see the faces of those who have reportedly been, whose rights have reportedly been violated by the former dictator. First, tell us, what's your name?
So my name is Jason Florio, and I'm from London.
We are here at the Victim Center headquarters, and there are a lot of pictures around of victims of the former president, and you are the one who took them. When did this project start, and how did it came about?
I started the project in October 2016. I was in Senegal, and I had the opportunity to go and meet Fatoumata Sending. And Fatoumata Sending, obviously the daughter of Solo Sending. She was in a safe house, and I was given the opportunity to meet her and interview her. And then through her, I started to meet some of the exiled journalists like Saini, M.K. Morena, Alaji Job. And from there, I started to realize how many people were victims from the regime. I'd been working in Gambia on and off for 20 years, but I had no idea how many people were victims of the regime. So once Jammeh fell and went into exile, I was able to start meeting more victims. People were coming out of the woodwork, and through the Gambia Victim Center, I was able to meet a lot more. So the idea is to make a very, very large body of work through portraiture and through the video testimonies as well.
There are an incredible number of pictures here, but I suppose the victims are far more than things. How did you come to select who becomes part of this and who?
We basically want to make something inclusive at the end of the day. We have a small exhibition here, so we basically tried to find a cross-section that represented the many different sort of crimes and atrocities that happened to people. You know, whether it was people who were involved in Jammeh's fake AIDS cure, whether it was people who were the students who were shot in the 2000 protests, or protesters from April 2004 to 2016. So we've got to try to make a big cross-section of people for this exhibition, but the idea is to maybe to collect hundreds of portraits if possible, that can also be part of the dialogue that's going on as part of sort of the reconciliation process. We really want to put a face to the victims. There's one thing hearing about the numbers and the names, but we need to show people these are human beings, and we have to really bring them as personalities to the forefront.
So, how many portraits, how many pictures have you taken? I mean, as part of this project?
So far, we've got about 60, maybe 70, I think. Yeah, we're in the very early stages of it. Because we've been working, because we're working on it pro bono. So whenever we have a chance and we get a little bit of funding, we can do a bit at a time. But we're now back in Gambia with the idea to spend the next few months doing a deep dive and collect the next maybe few hundred as well.
So, I mean, you were the one who took these pictures, but I'm so there are those that you may see to be more striking than others. Or are there? Are there?
I secretly have my favorites, but to me, it's the main thing is about the stories. I feel like my job is just to be a storyteller. This is a Gambian story. I've worked in Gambia on and off for 20 years. I have a big love affair with the country, and for me, this work is some way of trying to give back in some way. I have a few pictures which I really like, and some of the people I've had a especially close connection to. But I'm very egalitarian, so.
So when you looked at these pictures, I mean, do you just go see the person and take them a picture as you find them, or do you set a stage for it?
That's a good question. It's a little mixture of both. Normally what happens is I try to photograph most people in somewhere that's comfortable for them. So it's normally in their home, somewhere where they feel safe, where they feel that they can open up. So we normally start with a video interview, a sort of a testimony, so I can get a deeper understanding of what's happened to them. And then I normally discuss with them, maybe if they've got a particular favorite place that they like in the house or something they want to wear. So we try to make it a sort of a collaborative effort. So sometimes the pictures happen spontaneously, and other times we sort of stage them a little bit, So it's a portrait, so it's not a reportage, it's a portrait. So
if you look at all these pictures as I've gone around to see them, I mean, one thing you've seen is sometimes even this is not a setting, for instance, that is violent in nature or shows some horrible things, but if you look at the face and the eye and the background of the picture, and it strikes you as someone perhaps who have been, I mean, how do you, is that a creation from your own mind that this is how a picture ought to look like in order to tell a specific kind of a story, for instance?
I think for me, I'm not trying to sort of exaggerate anything. I think what I'm trying to find is the people's personality to come through in the photograph. So I want it to be as natural as possible. I'm not asking people, okay, tell me something really bad that happened to you and start crying. I want it to be them to feel strong, because even though we call them victims, to me they're also resistors as well, because a lot of these people they were on the front line in many cases. We've got people like Kafo Bayo and Jabang and Mr. Njaya over there, who they put themselves on. It was almost like a suicide mission on April the 14th, 2016, when they went out onto the streets. So to me, what happened to them made them victims, but they were resistors. They were heroes to go and do what they did. So to use just the word hero seems a little sort of dismissive. I think there's so much more than that.
What do you hope we take from this?
I think for me, my intention is the work is for the Gambian people. And what I would like to do is to try and get it into the provinces so people can put faces, like I said before, to humanize these people. Because I think the best way of some sort of dialogue coming together is to talk one-on-one as a human being. And if these images can reflect humanity and reflect, like, these are normal people that terrible things happen to, and I would like it to sort of create a dialogue, and hopefully a positive dialogue.
Finally, are you thinking of having a sort of an electronic version or a website where the soft copies of these images could also be where some people who are in the diaspora or probably are not Gambians could also go to and see?
I think you were reading my mind. Because we've been on my personal website, I've been presenting on there and trying to get a lot of international interest in that respect. Yeah, the idea I was talking about with some of the people at the centre here is to create sort of like an online platform where people could also add their own stories as well. So it would become like a national archive, a portal that people could come and read, especially if you're in the provinces or you're on your phone. So I think this is the first opportunity to physically show the pictures in Gambia. And we'd love to take them on the road, as I said, to the provinces. But I think a digital platform now, everyone in Gambia seems to have a smartphone. It does seem the best way if we can create something that's easily accessible for everybody.
Thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much indeed.
First, tell us, who are you and what do you do?
I am Aisha Jame, Aisatu Jame, but fondly called Aisha Jame. I'm a founding member of the Victim Center and also work at the Victim Center Secretariat as a program officer.
What's happening here at the Victim Center today?
We're having a picture exhibition. It's an open exhibition to display portraits of victims. Basically, the theme of the exhibition is Portraits to Remember, to show the faces of victims that went through human rights violations from during the past 22 years. So pretty much it's more of seeing the victims, seeing their pictures in a portrait. So basically, that is why it's a one-off activity that we'll be doing, and then it's something that we'll be doing all the time. As you can see, these are not just the victims of the past regime. We have more victims, so we'll be doing it from time to time. We will have pictures of victims, portraits of victims being displayed, and then people will come in. It's just as a way of showing the Gambian people that these were the victims of human rights abuses that happened in the past 22 years.
How many victims do we have? I mean, pictures do we have here?
The pictures as of now, I can't tell exactly, but then we have a lot, and we have a lot of pictures. And like I made mention earlier, going forward, we'll be holding such exhibitions every now and then, just to show people that we have so many victims that went through some form of ordeal during the former 22 years.
It's a way of putting faces to the names.
Exactly. It's a way of putting the faces to the abuses that happened to them. So pretty much that's about it. Yeah.
So is this the end, or is this project going to expand? Are you going to take more photos to show?
Yeah, it's going to expand. Actually, it's something that we want. We even wanted to go international, and then even if we could have pictures, the portraits in museums, being kept in the museums in the Gambia, to act as remembrance, because our kids are growing. It will act as history of the Gambia. It will be as a form of history of the Gambia, whereby people will know the people who went through some form of human rights abuses in our country.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Hasim Sise, historian, National Center for Arts and Culture.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. You've also come here to this photo expedition. I mean, when you arrived, what sort of things did you see, and how did you make?
Well, thank you very much. Photography is art, and as head of the Arts Center, National Center for Arts and Culture, I have to celebrate this initiative. Promoting aspects of our history through the art of photography. But Mustafa, I have lived through the Second Republic. But having gone through this exhibition, I now have a clearer picture of the depth of depravity and the amount of abuse that Gambians had undergone. Of course, I had anecdotal evidence on this, from the newspapers, from the press. work, that people like you have done. But seeing this exhibition, I have a clearer picture of how profound, the depths of depravity, and deprivation of basic human rights of Gambians.
What strikes you most as you walked around the hall looking at various pictures of several alleged crimes committed?
Well, the range and the scope of the abuse. It looks like nobody was spared. I have seen housewives, former ministers. I've seen poor farmers, school children, the weak, the middle class, the powerful, the all-powerful. It looks like nobody was spared. And I think that is one abiding lesson that anybody who comes to this exhibition will discover at a first glance that nobody was spared. That dictatorship, no one is spared, except those who want to live in a fool's paradise. They think they are above it all. Okay? But as long as there's a dictatorship, nobody, and I mean it is spared. That is why it should be the universal concern of every Gambian to make sure this does not occur again.
So when I was speaking to Aisha, one of the people who had founded the Victim Center, one of the things that she was telling me was that it's important that perhaps these pictures are perhaps protected in sort of a museum, or what do you think of that?
I want to invite Aisha to come, we talk. We can even put this as part of our permanent display in the National Museum for future generations to have access to. I completely agree with her. And I will take her contact from you after this interview, and we can discuss it further to put it in a permanent display.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mustafa.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. So first explain to us why you are here. What you've come here to do?
Well, I'm here to witness the opening ceremony of the photo exhibition that is set up by the Victim Center in association with Jason Florio. I think it's very important that I come and see what they have on the walls here.
You are the executive director of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, one of the key institutions in Gambia's transitional justice mechanism. How important it is that you've come here to see stories of victims being told in such an immaculate fashion, in images.
Well, as Executive Secretary of the TRRC, I think it's important that I continually inform myself about events and issues that have to do with victims. So it's very important that that I come here and educate myself, look at the pictures, and look around and see what they have on the walls, and see how best we perhaps could reach out to some of these victims, because I don't recognize a lot of the victims, and I think that some of them might be interested in talking to the TRRC as well. So I think it's very important that I come here.
In terms of the number of people it covered, the number of people who you have seen in the images, are you surprised, or are these people you already know as being victims of the former regime?
No, I'm actually surprised to see a lot of people here. For example, I've seen Seni Marina. I knew Seni Marina had some issues, but I didn't know what his actual problem was. And I'm also seeing a lot of faces that I don't know. And so one of the things that I've already started talking to the Victim Center about is whether we could have access to either some of the statements that these people have given, or actually have contacts with them, so we can encourage them to come forward and talk to the TRRC as well.
So in other words, this has also exposed you to potential?
Yes, potential witnesses, yes, it has, certainly, yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Yeah.
First, you tell us what's your name and who are you?
I am Abdul Karim Jammeh, one of April 10 and 11 survivors.
You
As written on the, as you can see, that's AKJ. Yeah.
Abdul Karim Jammeh.
Jammeh, yeah.
Where is your picture? Your picture on the wall?
Yeah, that's me. That's me on the picture, sitting on my small, tiny mat, my praying mat. Yeah.
What happened to you?
Yeah, I was one of a survivor of April 10 and 11, year 2000, student demonstration, which I sustained a gunshot injured. 16, 17 now is now a gunshot injured. Yeah. I was shot by the security forces during that day. We came out on that day to protest on behalf of our colleagues. So because of one of our colleagues was killed, he was tortured.
Who is that colleague?
Ibrahim Abari was tortured and forced to eat cement by paramilitary officers, by 2 fire service officers. And the second one was a schoolgirl, the age of 14 years, was raped by 2 paramilitary officers. So these are the 2 reasons why the students came out on that day to demonstrate, to show out their anger against what happened to their colleagues. So we came out on that fateful day, and it became worse. So in the process, at least 14 students were shot dead on that very day, and we are some of the survivors of that incident. Where few of us are still, living with that, gunshot meme, I can say, because some of my colleagues are still in a wheelchair because of that gunshot. Some are still using 2 crutches to support themselves because of that gunshot. As you can see me also, I'm supporting myself with a walking stick due to that gunshot, which you sustained on that very, very fateful day during the dictator time, I can say.
Your pictures were used here to tell the stories of Gambia's suffering. Gambians who have suffered under the dictatorship. I mean, when you walked into this hall, based on what you've seen, was it a surprise to you, even though you were a victim yourself?
Yeah, it's a very big surprise for me because I saw other pictures which, surprised me more. Because, some people are here. When I looked at them, I completely forget myself. I forget about myself completely due to the nature of their situation, I can say, because it's crazy. When you look at these pictures and you see the history of these people, we've went through a very, very difficult time during Jammeh time. It is sad, definitely. It's so sad.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.